In this lesson, you're going to learn 4 simple chords you can use to play almost any worship song. Let's check it out. So the 4 chords you're going to learn today are simple. In the key of C, it's C, F, G, and A minor. So that's the 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords. And I want to prove to you that you can play tons of incredible modern worship songs with just those 4 chords. I've pulled up this list. It's the most popular worship songs across all of America, provided by our friends at Song Select by CCLI. The most popular song is Goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Yes, 4 chords. I will build my life, G, upon your love, A minor. It is a E over C, so a C chord. Firm foundation, F. I will put my G in you alone, A minor. E over C, yes, 4 chords. Waymaker, F. Maker, miracle worker, C. Light in the G. That is who you, A minor. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour G. 4 chords. Graves into gardens, F, 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 C. Yes, what a beautiful name it is, C, G. Name of Jesus Christ, our F. So with just these 4 chords, I'm able to play incredible, popular modern worship songs. I bet that your church is already playing at least one of them. So let's dive into these chords. We're going to start with really simple ways to play them, and then you're going to be able to layer these skills up as you grow over time. So if you're watching this video, be encouraged. You're going to be able to play more songs at the end of it than you are right now. We're going to start with the C chord, and for each chord, I'm just going to play a bass note or an octave bass note in the left hand. So this is our C chord. This is our F chord. This is our G chord. This is our A minor chord. I'm teaching you this now because I'm just going to keep that bass note going while we focus in on the right hand. And that bass note doesn't have to be complicated at all. It just lays the foundation for what the right hand is going to bring to the top. All right, so here's the C chord. We're going to play it in what's called second position. That just means 3 notes starting with G, C, and E. G, C, E. And this is our C chord in second position. And then I'm going to play those octave C bass notes. And this is our C chord. Now we could just play it once when the band changes to C, or I could go something like this. Or I could just kind of add a little bit of a pattern, something like. So this is like, what a beautiful name. Beautiful name it is. My fingers aren't moving, I'm just playing the notes here and there. So just like that, you're 25% of the way there. Go ahead and give me a high five. Next up, we're gonna do the F chord. So this is our C chord, G, C, E. And all we're gonna do is shift a couple of our fingers 1 note. So our F chord becomes A, C, this note doesn't change, F. So A, C, F. And this would be called F first inversion. And I'm going to play octave F bass notes in my left hand. So that right there is our F chord. And again, I could just play it, or I could play it like quarter notes like this as the band plays. Or I could do a little bit more of a rhythmic approach. And then I could go back to my C chord by just shifting those 2 fingers. So let's practice that. F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Back to F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. Halfway there, and you know we got to do another high five. So from our F chord, which is A, C, F, we're going to play our G chord by again shifting our fingers up. This time all 3 fingers move up 1 note. So that becomes B, D, G. So from our F chord, which is A, C, F, we go B, D, G. And again, I'm going to play octave G bass notes. Let's go back down to our F. That's A, C, F in the right hand. And let's go back down to our C. So that's G, C, E. F, up to G, B, D, G in the right hand, A, C, F for our F chord, and G, C, E for our C chord, called the 1 chord. So let's practice that, just going from C to F to G a little bit more quickly. I'm going to play this and you can follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4. F, G, F, back to C, F, G, good job, F, C. All right, we're 75% of the way there. Let's mix it up and do a fist bump. Okay, home stretch, we've got 1 chord left to go. So far we've learned C, F, G, and our last chord is A minor. It should be called the 6th chord when you're in the key of C. But we're not going to lift this up. We could go here, but the A minor chord is kind of the saddest chord in the key of C, and we don't want that to be the highest sounding chord for us because it makes it sound like the biggest, most important. So instead, we're going to move our fingers back down a little bit and play A, C, E. So this is A minor in what we would call root position. And all that means is the lowest note is the root note of the chord. So an A bass note here and A, C, E. So then if we went from G, it would be B, D, G, A, C, E. Let's practice that again. B, D, G, A, C, E. G. Let's go down to F. Up to G. Up to A. But our fingers move down to A, C, E, and then we could go to the C chord, G, C, E. So you might have noticed there, instead of just playing the chords, I was playing 1 note at a time as I talked through them with you. It's a simple technique that's very common in piano called arpeggiation. And it just means you break out the notes in the chord and you play them 1 at a time with a particular rhythm. And typically you sustain each one as you go, so it becomes not staccato like this, but it's beautiful. And you can even add patterns where you go up and then back down. So let's test out the 4 chords that you've just learned by going back to the song What a Beautiful Name by Hillsong Worship. I'm sure you know this song. It's really gorgeous, and we can play the chorus in the key of C with just these 4 chords. So let's go ahead and give that a try. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus Christ our King. What a beautiful name it is, nothing can stand against. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is, the name of Jesus. Now these chords in the shapes that you've learned them today are quite simple, but the reason it works so well to cover a chorus like in What a Beautiful Name is because there's only minimal changes from chord to chord. All of the notes are close by. We could have just played C root position, F root position, G root position, A minor root position, but look how far away we got from where we started. We're almost an entire octave above, and that feels very drastic. And in worship music, oftentimes we want to make these changes more on the smooth side so that the band can flow and the congregation can follow along. So that's why we picked these particular shapes, because they're really not that far away from each other. In fact, we only span an octave in total. We start on this G, and we only reach up to a G an octave above. So what a beautiful name right there with just those 4 simple chords and basic shapes. Sounds amazing, and you could play that at your church today. Now, if you have the chord chart for What a Beautiful Name in front of you, you might notice that there's a couple extra chords on there. For example, there's probably a C, then a slash, and an E. That's called a slash chord. And all that means is instead of playing a C bass note, you can play an E bass note. So you could absolutely do that if you wanted to. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ our King. Here comes the C slash E, C over E. It is. So I'm just playing E bass note and the same exact C chord in the right hand. And then you move through the rest of your chart. So anytime you see 2 notes with a slash in between, the first one is the chord you play in your right hand, and the second is the bass note you can play. But most of the time, it's also totally okay to just ignore everything after the slash and just play the bass C chord. So if you're just getting started out and you're not quite ready for that level, that's okay too. The only thing to keep in mind is make sure you sync up with other members of your band. If your bass player is going to play that bass note, you might want to hold off in the left hand to make sure that you don't clash. Okay, so we've got 4 simple chords. We just played through the chorus of What a Beautiful Name, and it sounded great. And the parts are ready to go. You can take them to your worship team right now. I've used a piano sound for this lesson so far, but I want to give you an idea of how choosing different sounds can bring another level to the keys position without requiring you to play any different chords. So I'm going to pick a different setting here in the Sunday Keys app. This is what's been providing all the sound for today's lesson. They're not coming from the keyboard, they're actually coming from my iPad. The keyboard is just connected to it. So I've got different sounds now, not just a piano, but some strings and a couple of pad sounds, which are a type of synth sound as well. I'm going to play the exact same chorus, and I want you to hear how different and full it feels. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ our King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. All right, you made it. You know all 4 chords, and that means you can now go play an incredible array of modern worship songs. So that's a double high five. Now, if you are a beginner to worship piano and you want to keep growing, we'd love to support you in that. We have tons of free videos like this one, beginner piano lessons, linked in a playlist. That's in the description, so go check that out if you want to keep growing in your skill as a worship piano player. And if you'd like to bring great sounds to your piano playing, there's also a link in the description where you can learn all about this app I've been using called Sunday Keys that gives me the great piano sounds that I need for my worship team. If you enjoyed this video, share it with another worship piano player you know. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and have a great day.